Alright, stop. Grammar time. Okay, I know that that's super cheesy, but I wanted to get your attention and tell you that this video is going to be full of grammar. You're going to need to take some really good notes. There's lots of opportunities for you to draw some of the images that you see and to use colors to illustrate some of the grammar points. So grab your markers, your colored pencils, your crayons, and whatever you got, and get ready to take some really good grammar notes. Le verbe faire, to do, et le verbe jouer, to play, sont très importants pour discuter les sports, les Jeux olympiques et beaucoup d'autres activités. Mais il est très important de noter que le verbe faire est suivi followed by de et que jouer est suivi de la préposition à avec un accent grave. Let's think of it like this. The verb faire ou jouer est une motocyclette, a motorcycle. La préposition à ou de is sort of like a sidecar. The verb can go all by itself. The preposition, though, needs something to attach to. The verb is the guy doing all the work, and the preposition just sort of attaches to the side and accompanies the motor or the verb. Be careful to note that the sidecar that accompanies faire is de, and the sidecar that accompanies jouer is à. Don't mix these two up. So, if I've got my verb jouer and my preposition à, or my verb faire and its accompanying preposition de, and I'm ready to describe some of the activities that I do you think there's going to be any kind of problem here? Does this sound right to you? Je joue à le foot, or je fais de le lacrosse? Something sounds weird, doesn't it? That's your internal grammar radar saying, Houston, we have a problem. If you take a look at page 2 in your packet, you'll notice that most of the sports are masculine and therefore start with a le, just like these 3 examples. Your internal grammar radar was correct. There is a problem with saying à le. We can't do it. Instead, we need to make some of the following contractions. Ça, c'est un tableau, a chart, that I would love for you to have in your notes. You can use the colors that I used here or different ones, but make sure it makes sense to you. Okay, quand vous avez le plus a, vous avez la contraction o. Le plus de, vous avez la contraction du. Quand vous avez l'article défini les plus a, vous avez o avec x. Si vous avez les plus de, vous avez des. So instead of saying je joue à le volleyball, I would say je joue au volleyball. C'est très important de noter que la prononciation ici c'est o, et ici c'est o. These two have the same pronunciation, don't they? That's why sometimes I'll say o avec x to indicate that it's o with the x on the end, which is plural. Remembering that a plus le makes o, here are our corrected sentences. Je joue au foot. Je joue au tennis. Je joue au lacrosse. Et c'est pareil avec le verbe faire. Je fais du foot. Je fais du tennis. Je fais du lacrosse. In French, you can often substitute jouer à and faire de and get the same meaning. In French, you could say I play soccer or I do some soccer, and it really has the same meaning. But be careful, don't just assume that every sport or game takes O, A-U. There's a lot of differences. For example, if I wanted to talk about the sport l'escrime. Escrime starts with an E, and therefore the article that we use is l'apostrophe. A plus l'apostrophe works fine. We don't need to make any contraction. So, je joue à l'escrime is the correct way to say that. Par exemple, je fais de la natation. Natation est féminin, et vous avez un la. De plus la works just fine. Je fais de la natation. Or something that could be plural, like échec, which is the word for chess. It's plural, so therefore, je joue aux échecs. Be careful not to just assume everything is AU. Each sport or game has its own rules, and you'll need to know what the rules are in order to make the correct preposition. Are there any times that you would use the verb jouer without an a? Absolutely. If you don't mention the sport or game that you're playing, then you don't use an a at all. Here are two examples. Je joue avec mon chien. Avec mon chien just means with my dog. There's no sport or game mentioned, so I don't use an a. Same here. Je joue après l'école. I'm playing after school. There's no game or sport, and therefore no a. Take a look at page 8 in the packet. Look at all of the activities that use faire that are mentioned there. These will need to be memorized and are part of our new vocabulary list. Notice that almost all of them have some sort of preposition in the middle. Now we know a little bit about why we might have de la versus du, but look over here. Some of them just use a la or a le, like these ones. These prepositions and articles are very important and must be memorized right along with the meaning and spelling of each expression. Here's one last visual to help you understand the relationship between the verb, the preposition, and the rest of the expression. Pensez à un train, a train. Le moteur, c'est le verbe. Le cargo, c'est l'expression. Et ici, vous avez la petite préposition. It acts like a hook. Could you carry your cargo on your train without the hook? No, absolutely not. So all three pieces of this expression are very important. Voilà l'expression faire du sport. Et une autre expression, faire de la danse. Et enfin, jouer au foot. Even though we changed the motor, we changed the verb, we still have to have our hook in order to carry the cargo. Quentin thinks you did a good job on your notes, and he wishes you bonne chance sur le quiz.